Eduardo, I'm thrilled to pour you a wine of actually a winery I've visited. So this is Vina Real.
You won't stop talking about it, so I know you've been there.
I just, there's very few places I've been that you haven't. So when I have one, I do like to brag a little bit.
This is Cune. I mean, from the late 1800s, one of the big staples in Spain, right?
Yes, so one of the pioneer producers, Cune.
Can I have a little more?
As much as you'd like.
Excellent.
Cune was established in Rioja, in Haro, but this is their outpost from Vina Real, which is another winery that they established in the 1920s in LaGuardia. So further north, this is in the Rioja Alavesa area, and this really is, I would say, like a love letter to the region where Vina Real is located. So these are vineyards close to that. Bacheder means peace or harmony, and it's in reference to this place where this winery is.
100% Tempranillo?
100% Tempranillo.
Wow.
And it sees a little bit of oak, but it's used oak, and it's used French oak. So a lot of Rioja, for historical reasons, incorporated lots of American oak and really long oak aging. This is taking a little bit of a departure from that and really letting the Tempranillo speak for itself and speak a little bit louder beyond a lot of oak aging and American oak. So this only sees a shorter amount of time. It's not Grand Reserva, it's not Reserva, but it's really just about the place and the grape shining through in the glass.
It's a beautiful wine. And we cannot talk about the Rioja without talking about the history, as you mentioned, right? So France is thriving in the 1800s. Phylloxera comes and takes the pie, and people start flitting and going to other parts of the world, right?
Looking for somewhere else to scratch that itch, that thirst that the French have.
Cement some roots in there.
For wine. And they looked to Rioja. They crossed the Pyrenees, went into Rioja, and there's trains that kind of run straight from Bordeaux to Rioja that were built during that time just to keep feeding that pipeline of wine into France. And Cune was one of those people, one of those producers that really profited from that, benefited from that, and they learned about barrel aging, they learned about estates, and they learned this kind of French wine model and applied it to what they had. And the region now lives on, but really stands on its own, kind of apart from that. And what makes them so unique is the Tempranillo, is they're the champion grape of Spain.
Beautiful, and it's such a diversity of styles, but certainly when winemaking started being serious and with that French influence in the Rioja, a lot of the producers weren't that wealthy. They didn't have a lot of funds. So American oak, because of the trade with the Americas, it was an easy transition, and a lot of producers very traditionally stuck with that. But Cune, I think it's what separates them, is that the inclusion of French oak and going the extra mile, right? A little more richness.
It's I think a stylistic choice.
Absolutely. No better or worse.
Cune also creates a wine that does blend both of them, and so it's about style, and it's about meeting what you have in the vineyard in the winery. So this one may see what it sees, and other wines see what they see, and they're just different expressions of the place and the history.
Now, from your last visit there, I remember there was a dish that made it to every day, and I think it's an ideal pairing for this. So share a little bit about it.
So I was there in the springtime, and it was baby lamb everywhere, up and down the Ebro River. We had grilled, open fire grilled lamb. And it had a little bit of gaminess, some sweetness, a good amount of fat and richness to it, and the wines just perfectly met it. And what they would do is they would throw herbs into the fire or underneath the lamb, and the fat would drip down and hit the herbs, and then it was a masterpiece. But the wines were great. The wines are great with that kind of
absolutely. And ask for it. Yeah. Wine of power, restraint, elegance, voluptuous, but also just so much silkiness and purity of the grape of Tempranillo. So beautiful. And I think it certainly deserves a place in the table any summer. So.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.